I'm back to being ultralight, so let's see what gear I'm taking on my next trip. What's up everybody, I'm Dan and welcome to Backpacking Adventures. In a few days, I'm leaving for a 5-day, 84-mile backpacking trip on the Standing Stone Trail here in Pennsylvania. It's been a couple years since I was ultralight, and I think the last time I was ultralight was, April of 2021. And it's been that long since I did a gear loadout video. I was ultralight on my last trip. I'm going to go ultralight on this trip, maybe a few other trips. So today I'm going to go over what gear I'm taking for this trip. To put this gear into context, the temperatures for this trip are going to be highs in the mid to high 80s, lows in the 60s. Almost every day it's a chance of showers and afternoon thunderstorms, and showers and thunderstorms overnight. So let's take a look at my gear. So here's my pack, and this has all my gear in it except for food, water, and any other kind of consumable in the clothes that I'm going to be wearing. I'm going to go over this gear in reverse on how I pack it, so I'm going to be starting on the outside of the pack and working my way down into the inside. And as I go, I'm going to include the weights of this gear on the screen. So first, let's start out with the pack. This is the Light AF Curve 35-liter frameless backpack. It has no hip belt. The main body is 35-liter. This is made of, I think, Ultra 200, I think it's what it is. It still has the Lycra mesh pocket. It's a great pack. And on this pack, I have 2 Light AF shoulder strap pockets, and that I use to hold my phone, which I think is in here now. And my cell phone with the case weighs 10 ounces. This is the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And like I said, it's 10 ounces, and this is included in my base weight. I also keep a handkerchief out here, and I have the foam pad that came with the pack. It's very thin, but you can fold it in half. Fits in a little pocket, works great as a sit pad. Attached to one of the pockets, I have the Thermodrop thermometer. It's a neat thing to have. I like to know what the temperatures are as I'm hiking, or in the middle of the night. I really like it when it's like really cold out, so you can see what the low temperature was. I also have the Garmin InReach Mini. This is a satellite SOS device. I can also text, so this always goes with me. On the side here, I have I bring normally two water bottles and a small water bottle. These are dirty because I fill them up and I just drink straight from the filter. This is clean, I can use to mix my electrolyte drinks with. And my filter of choice is the Platypus Quick Draw. I love this filter. This thing has an insane flow rate that does not slow down. I love this, it's really good. So in the main back pocket, I kind of stuff a lot of stuff in here. First, I guess, is my poop kit. Now this is in a Hilltop Packs roll top dry bag, and it's just basically a roll of toilet paper, which I'm not going to get out because it's a pain sometimes, and I have the dirt diggler from Apex Giant or Hilltop Packs. This thing is great. I think it's aluminum, it's small, it's very light, and I was using the Deuce of Spades, but this thing is stronger. It doesn't twist or bend. It's a lot better for digging holes. Next in here, since I have a hammock set up, this is my hammock tarp, which I'm not going to take out. This is the Hammock Gear standard tarp with doors, and I have a Hilltop Packs stake bag, and I have 4 MSR groundhogs with the line attached to them to stake out my tarp, and I also have, I think, 2 15-foot lengths of extra line that I can use just to tie my tarp right to a tree or whatever. Next in here is my little rock sack and line to hang my food bag up in the tree. This is also from Hilltop Packs. I have, to go along with my water system, this is my water scoop, and actually this is the oldest piece of gear that I carry, that I still carry on any trip. I've had this thing forever and ever. It's just a cutoff, I think, some kind of water bottle, but I use this just about every trip, and it's always with me. Love this. Now, this trail has a lot of unreliable water sources, so I will have some relatively longer water carries. Most likely, most nights we're going to be dry camping, so roughly 10 to 5 miles out from camp, I'm going to be hauling water. So this is a Platypus 2-liter water bag that just for carrying that extra water. And the last thing I keep on my outside pocket is my rain gear. This is the Z-Pax Virtus rain jacket. First of all, I also keep in here my rain pants, and I did switch to rain pants a couple years ago. Never looking back, I love them. These are the Enlightened Equipment Visp rain pants. Love these too. Work really good to stay dry as you can in the summertime because you're always sweating, but it's also a good warmth layer. I've been using this all year, and this thing works great. Keeps me dry. It breathes really well, and it's very, very light. Now, starting on the inside of my pack, first thing I keep in here is my food bag. That's right on top because that's the only thing I really need to get during the day. And this is, I think this is a 15-liter. Don't quote me on that, but this is from Hilltop Packs. This is a custom printed food bag, flat bottomed. Now in here, I keep all my food, my hygiene kit, my cook kit, and my fuel if I can. This trip I may leave the fuel out because I'm going to be taking a lot. And I don't want it leaking. But first thing, my spoon from Hilltop Packs. First thing in here is my cook kit. This is in a Hilltop Packs little sack. It kind of just keeps everything all wrangled from flying all over the place. This is a Toaks 550 milliliter pot. This is all I ever need because you can boil up to 2 cups of water, 16 ounces, and that's all I ever needed. I don't really cook in this pot, so I just boil water, and I don't really boil that much in it, so this works great. Have a little cut off piece of a microfiber towel just for drying things out. I have my windscreen because I am using my alcohol stove. A little sponge that if I would ever cook, I can clean this out, or if I get coffee residue, I can clean it. But I really use this as a pot holder to grab it off if the handles are hot. I also have this thing. These are great. These are hot lips. They go on the outside of your cook pot. And so when you're drinking coffee or a hot drink, you don't burn your tongue or your mouth. So these are great. And then here in this little bag is my alcohol stove. This is the Fancy Feast stove. I love this stove. This thing works great. You don't need a stand. You light it right up, and there's no moving parts. You just light it and go. I have a little piece of tin foil that I put underneath it. It helps for the efficiency of the fuel and keeps you from burning the leaves or anything like that. A little mini Bic lighter and a little measuring cup so I can precisely measure out what I need, because for 2 cups of, it takes 1 ounce of fuel to boil 2 cups of water. You know, so if you're boiling 1, it's half an ounce, and if you're boiling less for like a cup of coffee. This gives me a more accurate measurement so I can conserve fuel. Next thing in here, well, we'll go through my fuel. I'm gonna be taking about 8 ounces of fuel for a 5-day trip. This will be plenty for coffee and for cooking, because the meals I choose are never like Mountain House meals where they take 2 cups of water. I always go with meals that take, you know, less than 10, maybe 8 ounces of water. So, and this is an 8-ounce water bottle. Keep in a Ziploc bag just to kind of keep it in case it leaks. But again, this may go on the outside of my pack. I haven't decided yet. So a lot of people keep everything in one ditty bag. I split them out to non-smellable and smellable. And this is my smellable one that always just stays in my food bag. I never need it during the day, maybe to get Body Glide out, but if I start having a chafing problem, that Body Glide goes into my pocket, my shoulder pocket. So, but yeah, stays in my bag. First thing in here is toothbrush. This is new to me. I didn't use this yet, but this is the little tiny Lightsmith. And no, I don't take the little tiny one specifically just for the weight. I had another toothbrush where I would cut off because it wouldn't fit in my little ditty bag that I used to carry. So I just figured I'd buy one because it's cheaper than buying a big toothbrush at the store and taking the time to cut it down. So I got this. I also don't use a toothpaste tube. I use these little toothpaste tablets. This little one can hold up to, this little case can hold up to 6, but you can just put them in a little pill bag, which I love these little pill bags. They're very, very useful. I also have some of the floss sticks or whatever they're called, just for cleaning out my teeth, for flossing. Next thing in here is Body Glide, of course. You really should be taking that for chafing. You can even put it on your feet. But I usually use it for just like in between your legs or whatever. 2 pieces of wet fire just in case for whatever. This is more of an emergency thing. These, I don't carry these just to light fires, but these are in case I do need to, and they're waterproof. Since it's a 5-day trip, I will be taking 5 of these wipes. These are DEET. I tried to use natural stuff. I tried to use Picardin. Doesn't work. I do treat all my clothes with permethrin. Always treat my clothes, and that seems to do it. I rarely put these on anyway because the bugs, for whatever reason, just don't bother me. I guess they just don't like me. But I do have one in here for every day. As a matter of fact, I've had these in here all year. So, but when I do need them, they work great. I have these little, I don't even know what they're called, these little towels. I have 3 of them, but you add like a tablespoon of water and they inflate them in case I need to wipe something down or clean off. But I have these in here. They weigh almost nothing. Here is a teeny tiny little bottle of Dr. Bronner's soap. I rarely ever use it, so that's why I got a little tiny one. It's also very concentrated, so you only need like a drop or 2 to use for whatever you need. Like if you have to wash your body or clothes, it doesn't take much to use. So this is in here in case I need it. It also, if something would happen to this toothpaste tablet, you can brush your teeth with this. So I also have some cream. This is called Trail Toes. I got this from Lightsmith. I don't know if you can get this, lightsmith.com. I don't know if you can get this anywhere else, but it's just a little, it's almost like A&D ointment, but it's really good for if you're going to be hiking in very rainy weather or your feet are always going to be wet. If you keep putting this on there, like I'm going to put it on before I even go on the trip, as I'm, that morning, and this will keep your feet from getting that wrinkly, I don't even know what you want to call it, but it really helps out with that. It also helps with blisters. You can also use it for chafing anywhere on your body. This stuff is great. And I do still carry the bidet. I've tried to use this and I just can't get it to, I don't know. But I do carry it along because it only weighs it weighs less than an ounce. And this is like an emergency backup to my toilet paper if something happens. Next things in my backpack are my ditty bag and electronics. I used to keep these on the outside of my pack and I don't anymore because like my electronics, if I go on a long trip, I take a bigger battery bank. And I mean, this bag here, it weighs close to a pound already. And when I had it on the back, it's farther away from my back, which, can make it feel heavier. So I put them in here. I put my ditty bag in there too because I never get into it. So I don't really need it on the back. But this bag is from Hilltop Packs. It's their electronics bag, their gadget bag. I think it weighs half an ounce, and that's including this carabiner. And I have the carabiner on here, so when I'm in my hammock, I can just clip it up on my ridgeline. Makes it easier to store it. So in here, so first is my battery bank, and this is one of the only differences from this trip I'm going on to my last trip that I did on the Black Forest Trail. This is the same loadout, and this is one of the differences. I took a smaller battery bank since I'm going for 5 days. This is the Nitecore, I think it's the NB 20,000 milliamp battery. This thing works great. I like this a lot better than the Anchor, and it's only like 11 point something ounces. It's very light. I have my earplugs that I use. I have my headlamp, which for this year, it's the NU, I think it's a 25 UL. It's a new one. I used to use the NU 25. I love that headlamp, and they came out with a new version. I thought I'd love it, but I just don't know. I think they really tried to make this like the Lightsmith version with the straps and everything. It's heavier than that, and the one thing I really don't like about this, or any headlamp for that matter, is there's all these different lights on it, so you have to do sequences of all these different buttons to get the certain light bulbs. On my other NU, you had 2 buttons. One was for the white light, one was for the red. Low, medium, high, low, medium, and blink. Very simple to use. And this one, you have to kind of use all these different button combinations to get all these things, and that's a lot of thinking for me out there, and I don't like to think, especially when I'm at camp and it's late at night and I've hiked 20 miles and I'm tired. But so the jury's still out on this, on if I really like it, but it's working fine, so I'll keep trying it. Maybe I'll start memorizing all those button combinations. But next is charging cord for my phone, USB-C to Lightning. I have, since I take my Apple Watch along, I have a cord to charge my Apple Watch. I always take headphones, even though I always take, and I don't have them here with me, I take the iPod, and they're included in my base weight, the AirPods, my Apple AirPods. I take them because normally I use them while I'm hiking or whatever, but I also use them at night. These are always in there in case I forget it, which I have done. And then I have the USB-C cord to charge my NU25 headlamp. Next is my ditty bag. Same thing, it's a Hilltop Packs zipper pouch with a carabiner so I can hang it on my ridgeline. Makes it a lot easier. And in here I have smaller zip bags, only because I like the organization and the stuff that's in those bags, I rarely ever get into. So before, everything was just dumped in one bag, and I had to sift through things, and I just didn't like that. So first, of course, this is my trail wallet. So it has cards and money in it. It's from Hilltop Packs as well, and this is working great. Next thing is my first aid kit, and this is a Light AF first aid kit bag, zipper pouch. And I'm not going to take everything out individually. I did a separate video on this a couple months ago on everything in it, and there's only one change, which was I got rid of that big metal tick key, and I got this little one from Hilltop Packs. So that's what's in there now. That's the only change. So I'll put a link up here, whatever, so you can look at that video and see specifically what's in it. Next, I have my emergency/repair. I bring a little compass. It also has a little thermometer and calculation on the back, how to calculate wind chill. Very helpful in the winter. I rarely get this out, but I have had to use it on several occasions. This is another backup lighter. This is just a bigger one. Now here is the knife I take. This is the little Swiss Victorinox, I think it is, mini knife. I might throw my Leatherman squirt in. I'm still not, kind of on the fence with that, but this has scissors, tweezers, nail file, knife, of course. And then this, two things, these are included with the weight of my water, with my water bottles and my Platypus quick draw water filter. This is the cap that goes on the bottom of the water filter in case it's below freezing. You just put the cap on and put the whole thing in your pocket. And this is just an extra water bottle cap in case I lose it. Moving on down in the pack, now I have a pack liner, which is a Nylaflume bag that I used. I put everything I want to keep dry in there. So the first thing that's on top here is one of the first things that I do want to set up when I get to camp. And that is my hammock. And this is the Dream Hammock Darien. This is an 11-foot hammock. It's 58 inches wide. I think it's made out of 1.6 Hexon fabric. I love this hammock. I did order another hammock from them. I'm still waiting for it to get here. I wanted to take that on this trip. It's about, I think this weighs about a pound, and that one would weigh about 4 ounces lighter. But I doubt I'm going to get that for the trip. So this is included in the base weight that I'm showing you today. And the straps, I have 12-foot straps for tree straps with sewn on Dutch clips, and the beetle buckle hardware for hooking it up to my hammock. And this is my summer underquilt. This is a Hammock Gear Phoenix underquilt, 3/4 lengths. This is a 40-degree underquilt. Next is my top quilt, and you've probably seen this on some other videos. I think I did a video just talking about this with my other quilts, but this is the Z-Packs Solo top quilt. And I tell you, it's a 30-degree quilt, and their website says it's transition. That temperature is transition, meaning you may start to get cold, closer to 30 degrees. I had this out on my trip on the Kuhana Trail about a month ago, and it got down to 27 degrees that night. Now granted, I was sleeping in my tent, but this kept me totally warm below its temperature rating. So I was very impressed with this. It's very light. This is lighter than my 40-degree quilt. So that's why I take it. It's a smaller quilt as well, and it packs down even smaller. So I'm very, very impressed with this quilt. Last thing that I have in my backpack is my clothes bag. And this is basically very trimmed down because of the warm weather we're expecting. And this is a Z-Packs, I think it's a medium dry bag. And I use this because it has that Velcro on it. It helps me close it better. But first thing in here is my hammock pillow. This is a down-filled pillow from Dutchware. It was custom printed. Next is my warmth layer. I don't take a puffy in the summer, but this is the QU Peloton 97 fleece, hoodie fleece. And I purchased one of these back in, I think, 2020. And man, I've never looked back. The only time I had to buy a new one was when I lost a lot of weight and I needed a smaller size because I was swimming in the other one. But This goes on every trip, winter, summer, spring, or fall, doesn't matter. I use it a lot, even in the summer. It's like for those cold mornings or at night to sleep in, or as a dry shirt to sleep in. It works. I just love this, and it's only like 5 ounces, so it's very light, and for the weight, it's very warm. It will keep you warm. I bring a little beanie because I use a top quilt that doesn't go up over my head, and this is for when it gets cooler at night. This only weighs an ounce. It's from Appalachian Gear Company. Very, very comfortable, very warm fleece as well, and I use this all year round. Next is an extra pair of Darn Tough socks I keep in there. They're the same as my hiking socks. I do keep a pair of sleeping socks. These I do not hike in them. These are only for sleeping, and especially on cold, rainy nights, if you just want to put something dry on to help keep your feet a little warmer. Usually in the summertime, I don't use them very much, but I do use them from time to time. And lastly in here are my Enlightened Equipment wind pants. Only weighs like 1 point some odd ounces. And I don't take base layer pants, at least on these last couple trips, but just for a little bit layer of warmth. And yes, I do know I have my rain pants, but if I'm hiking in them all day in the rain, which this trip will be raining most of the days, I'm not going to be laying in my hammock or anything wearing wet rain pants. So this is kind of like that dry, it weighs nothing. So, and it provides just enough warmth that I need. So why not bring it? All right, so that's everything that I keep in my pack. So now let's get into my worn clothes, what I wear while I'm hiking. Now, starting from the top and working my way down, this is a trucker hat from Burton. I get it off of Amazon. I used to wear a black version of this, and since I started changing all the color, I just got green. So this hat works really well. And I do treat this part with permethrin to help, I don't know, kind of makes an invisible shield and keeps the bugs away. The shirt I use, and I've been using this now since even last year, this is the Ascend Globetrotter. It's a long sleeve button-down shirt. It's not really a hiking shirt. It's like a traveling shirt, but it's made out of stretchy material. This thing it whisks water from your body very easy, and this thing dries insanely fast. This is the fastest drying shirt, even more than this, which I wore on a couple trips. This thing dries insanely fast. The only problem is they don't make it anymore, and you can't buy it. So I don't know what I'm going to do when this thing goes, because I can't fit into the Columbia shirts or a lot of other shirts. It's very difficult to find one that I can fit into, mainly get my arms in, that's not, you know, out to here on my stomach. So, but yeah, this shirt has served me very well. Shorts, these are Under Armour running shorts. I just don't know. I think they're 7-inch inseam, not sure. But I've been using these for years, for several years. Not this specific pair, but I keep buying these. This happens to be a smaller size since last year, since again I lost weight. But these are very nice. They have a liner, you know, the artificial underwear in there, so I don't wear any other kind of underwear. And there's little vents on the side to let air in. So these are very comfortable to hike in. They dry really fast, which is important. My socks are, we saw the other pair earlier, the Darn Tough. I don't know if they're the Vermont or not, but very comfortable socks. And the shoes that I've been wearing since the beginning of last year are the Hoka Speed Goats 4s. Now these are the 5s. I started off in the 4s, and these are just the new versions this year, which are the 5s. And so far, they've been working out very, very well for me. And I do keep a pair of Dr. Scholl's insoles for plantar fasciitis. And for trekking poles, I don't know if you've been watching for a while, you notice the drama I've been having with trekking poles over the last year or two, which I'm just falling apart and breaking. So these are new this year. I had a pair of these before that I used, and I liked them. I changed out, so now I am back to them. These are the Black Diamond Alpine Carbon Cork trekking poles, and with duct tape on it, of course, for any kind of repairs I need to make the things. But a little bit heavier than the trekking poles I was carrying the last year or two, but I love these things. And so far, these things are like tanks, man. And they haven't broken, which is a plus. So these are my trekking poles. All right, so that's my gear. And the base weight for this, which is basically all my gear that's in my backpack, minus food, water, fuel, anything consumable, it comes out to 9.8 pounds, or 9.12 ounces, which is 4.4 kilograms. Now, more importantly to me than base weight is the total pack weight, because that's really what's really weighing you down, is everything you're carrying. And with my food, which I've already have planned out, and I'll put a list of everything I'm taking on the screen. And I also did, since I am going low carb, I did a video last year. I'll put that up here, a link to it so you can see it, but it's basically the same thing. I've been eating the same food every trip since the beginning of last year. So that video will go into more detail on all the low carb food that I take. But the food that I'm gonna be taking is gonna weigh me probably around a little bit over 7.5 pounds. So everything in, water, fuel, that food, it comes out to about 24 pounds, a little bit under that, 23.8 I believe it is. So I'll still think for a 5-day trip, that's pretty light. So that's it, that's all the gear I'm taking, that's the food I'm taking. I'm excited about this trip. I did try this trip back in 2020 and had to bail the first day, so gonna get out there and get this trail done. I'll be leaving in a couple days. So let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you like this video, make sure you like it, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.